Acceptance without rejection. April 12, 2015. Every once in a while your insensible, negative emotions, hate, fear, greed, mistrustfulness, timidity, frustrations, etc., literally runs your life to what many dear souls describe as near ruin. They are unconscious and insensible simply because these destructive emotions often possess you for no good reason, and with the strength that is out of proportion for the situation. Destructive, explosive emotions are well known to consume your precious energy and cause you to act in ways that are not very light-bringing. When you feel your emotions are on the rise with deep intensity, you tend to deal with them in two ways. Either through repression or by expression. It is necessary, dear ones, to grasp an understanding of your emotions and to comprehend that if intense, negative emotions are permitted to control your actions, that they will become something like a poison if left to accumulate when you try to repress them. The more you repress them, the more toxic they become, and eventually you know what will happen. You will explode with an uncontrollable torrent of rage-fed emotions. When you repress, you cause hurt to yourself. Many dear souls complain of stomach issues when they repress negative emotions. Some people find they are never comfortable, and whatever joy they had in life seems to dissolve simply because the energy used to repress the negative emotions makes it difficult to focus on anything else. While you are repressing anger, you cannot express love truly and authentically. When you express love while repressing anger, your love will come across as being false and lacking of warmth. Then there is the other alternative to dealing with your explosive, negative emotions, expression. This is when you find someone you can share them with, or in simple terms, dump them on. But you have learned that this does not necessarily help. You have learned that sharing these deep, negative and explosive emotions with others have caused relationships to become fragile, and brings great misery to what you once loved. Expressing the ugly emotions often causes you to repress anger or other negative emotions because you don't want other areas of your life ruined, but you know repression is not good for you either. It is important, dear ones, to remember that your emotions are also energies. Even though some of them come across insensible and unconscious, they can still be transformed by the alchemical process of awareness, directing them towards their opposite, more positive attributes. Love can overcome fear, compassion can overcome anger, kindness can overcome hatred, creativity can overcome longing, etc. It is the same energy, it just needs someone to direct, it needs you to take charge. For the most part, you are either working alongside your busy mind or you are fighting your mind. If you are identified and working with your mind, then you are likely to indulge yourself with intense emotions, overindulge in lust-filled habits. You might allow yourself to become voraciously greedy or uncharacteristically jealous. Now if you are fighting your mind, then what you are essentially doing, dear ones, is creating attitudes that end up dividing you from your true self. If you are fighting with your mind, what is happening, dear ones, is that part of your mind is fighting with another part of itself. Therefore, while this discord is going on, there can be no transformation. Fighting with yourself doesn't help to dissolve the negative emotions. What it does, dear ones, is feed whatever it is that has caused you to become upset. Repression and expression are not great ways to dealing with explosive emotions. You know this as you have dealt with them before and had little success. Because your emotions are energy, there is something there that has boiled up to the surface, something that wants your attention, something you are meant to understand. If you can see the root behind the intense emotion, then you can transform that energy into something positive and consciously into your life. Take intense anger for a minute. Once you understand its root cause, and accept this emotion for what it is, you can use its strong energy towards something creative. When you do this, you are releasing waves of much-needed vitality and passion that was prevented from flowing when the negative emotions had reign. When you are in control of your emotions, you are no longer standing back allowing them to ruin the very things that brought you joy and happiness. When you repress anger, you are rejecting them, and like spoiled children they retaliate with bouts of upset that can get out of hand and rob you of vitality. Same as when you reject sadness, you lose whatever depth you had in life, any joy felt will become superficial. It is important to realize the harm you bring to yourself when you repress and reject your emotions. Even though they can become destructive and harmful, they are still a part of you. Just because your intense emotions don't fit into the ideals you have created or manufactured for yourself, doesn't mean they don't have purpose or meaning. They deserve your acceptance of them as they are a part of you. When you don't reject them and you do accept them just for what they are, then all energies become yours and your life is greatly improved. The energy these intense emotions could have taken becomes yours. It is not that difficult, dear ones, to transform your negative and intense emotions. All you really need to remember is to accept them and to be aware of them. When you truly accept your emotion, be it anger, sadness, hate, love, accept that this emotion is here and it is your energy. Relax, don't fight it. Let the emotion come, and let it go. Become aware of the root behind the insensible emotion, and it is here, through this needed awareness, that the transformation begins. When you know the root cause, you diffuse the heat and cannot become angry, and that anger turns into compassion. Awareness is the key. Once you are aware of your emotions, they no longer have any power over you, and you are no longer reacting as a result of them. The most important aspect of transforming your intense emotions is in the acceptance that they do serve a purpose and that you have no reason to condemn them or reject them. You are not labeling them being good or bad, you are merely acknowledging and accepting their presence in that moment and letting them go by like a cloud moving gently in the breeze across the sky. It is not always going to be easy to transform your emotions without wanting to add negative judgments on them. It is difficult, we know, for you to not have any judgments inside your busy mind or to not comment with bias and negativity. But if you can give a few minutes to simply observe the mechanism behind the emotions that fill your mind, then you give yourself the possibility of moving beyond them. Meditation is a great means for quieting the mind and bringing peace to your whole self. When possible, dear ones, make time to meditate, to take deep cleansing breaths, to love yourself by accepting all that you are, without rejecting any one thing. When you truly accept your emotions as being a necessary part of you, comprehend, dear ones, that you are not condoning their intensity or negativity. Acceptance of them only means you accept them as they are. When the anger comes, you accept you are angry. You acknowledge the anger, you are aware of it and of the energy it carries, you watch and observe it. It is a beautiful phenomenon, witnessing energy moving inside of you, watching it rise and watching it transform. Meditation helps to cool your inner forces, brings healing to every part of you and encourages deeper transformations to take place. When you allow the peacefulness of meditation to work in your favor, your anger turns into compassion, your hate become love, and so forth. Think of compassion as being your inner air conditioner when things and thoughts get hot. Whenever you look from eyes that are angry, someone eventually becomes your enemy, but when you look from eyes that are compassionate and loving, everyone becomes friend. How you feel, dear ones, makes an impact on how you perceive life. Your viewpoints become a reality projected by your emotions. So when you are filled with love, everywhere is heaven, because you flow with the divine goodness that comes from your heart and you recognize the good amongst the bad. So, when you understand your emotions, you can channel their energy, you use their energy for your own purpose instead of being a servant of their destructiveness. Remember, emotions are energy. Until you understand this, dear ones, you will feel frustrated. But once you understand and know this fact, you have the power to transform their energy and to use their energy for creative purposes that lead to a more meaningful life. The energies of your emotions are always there with you. The only question left remaining is, will you use them, or will you let them use you? Be patient with your emotions. Learning to observe them takes time. Redirecting your focus from the external factors of your upset requires you to wait sometimes but not give up. Just as night becomes day, your heated emotion will be transformed, and the energy from that emotion is yours to be used towards something constructive, creative, good, and positive. You have the power to change your poisonous emotions and turn them into sweet nectar through awareness and acceptance. When you bring awareness into the areas of yourself that you find weak or unwelcomed, you bring light and growth to those areas. There is so much more for you to become, dear ones, and you will become more as you access more from acknowledging and accepting every part of you. When you become one with yourself, you grow exponentially, and that growth, dear ones, is a marvel to observe. I am Melchizedek through Julie Miller. SpiritualNetworks.com